related to 2nd of March, and in totality, 5 ministries are participating: Ministry of Agriculture, Food Processing, Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries, and Ministry of Cooperation. Today, we are all of us has assembled here for our fourth program, which is on emerging technologies in farm machinery, digitization, and opportunity for the entrepreneurs. Before we start the session, may I request all dignitaries, Mr. P. K. Swan, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, to kindly come on the dais, sir. Ms. Chavija Ma'am, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Pri Ranjan, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, and Mr. T. R. Keshwan, Chairman, FICCI Agriculture Committee, to kindly come on the dais, and Mr. V. N. Kale, he is Agriculture Commissioner, Farm Machinery and Ministry of Agriculture. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the dais. And without taking much of the time, may I kindly request Mr. P. K. Swan, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, to kindly deliver his welcome remarks and give a program overview to all the participants. Sir, over to you.
Good morning to all of you. Very good morning. Namaskar. Well, the morning starts with a beautiful session of emerging technologies in farm machinery, digitization, and opportunities for entrepreneurship. That's a fabulous topic. Probably when you look at it in the spectrum of agricultural development, they are the emerging rainbow in our sky. So let me first welcome all the dignitaries on the dais. Mr. Keshavan, President TAFE Limited, and also he is the Chairman FICCI National Agriculture Committee, and both esteemed Joint Secretaries from Government of India and Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Madam Chavija and Mr. Priyaranjan. And I also welcome Mr. V. N. Kale, Additional Commissioner, Machinery and Technology from Ministry of Agriculture, Krishi Bhavan, New Delhi. It's a privilege to be with you today morning on this elite session. It's a new emerging session. Let me just take pride, first of all, that agriculture in India is a subject where no more we are talking of primitiveness or lack of youth participation. Gone are those days. It's in the from the reverse gear. It is now coming to the fourth and fifth gear in India, driving our economy, propping up our economy to the acknowledgement of not just the economists in India, but the entire world. Driving food security, driving food nutrition and health. It is changing gear from production oriented to income orientations. India's food sector contributes, it is the sixth largest sector globally. I mean, that gives the emphasis of where we stand in the globe. People talk about population, talk about the size, but let me also talk about the market size. India's food industry contributes to about probably 9% plus to the gross value additions in the sector for the entire economy, and attracting sizable investment to this, with almost comprising of 1/7 of the export sector, that the food industry I'm talking about. It's a rising sector. How is it possible? When on one hand we talk about the fragmentation of the land, and probably we have one of the smallest landholding size on earth for the agricultural production. People talk about probably more than 85% of the farm holdings less than 1 hectare or 2 hectares. Never mind. But India is reversing that trend with host of technologies and policies, supportive policies and schemes. It's a productivity which is on the rise. We are today, if you are second largest in food grains of the fruits and vegetable, and in some of the items we are the number one globally. It's been possible to the concerted effort of our farmers as the food givers to both embrace technology and the agricultural practices to turn around, and from the food basket of India to become the food giver to the world. Be it so, so it be, India is on a fast track of technology adoption. Why is it so? Because technology can bring in improvement in the productivity, reduction in the cost of production, optimizing the entire market to the supply side. So, technology has to be there. A bit of technology has to be there in everybody's life. So, how is that possible? Yes, we have been branded earlier as primitive agriculture, subsistential agriculture, but no more of that kind. From tractor tillers to the kind of digitization that we have been inducting, blending in our system is marvelous. Today, probably, Kesavan Saab will agree, we are the largest manufacturer of tractor in the world. We are the largest market for the tractor. How is that possible if our fragmentation of the land is happening? Tractor and tillers we are leading. Not to be left behind in the production cycle, we are also looking at the kind of micro irrigation, because more than 50% is rain-fed. Will not be able to come to this level of more than 300 million metric ton of food grains, or record 320 million metric ton of fruits and vegetable, unless we adopt technology just in one or two sectors, but the entire gamut of the agriculture value chain, right from pre-production to the post-harvest marketing. So, if you look at this, micro irrigation also has invaded our space of agriculture. Don't worry, it's not displacing labor. We may be having that almost 40% to our workforce coming from the agriculture sector, with nearly 50% of population dependent on this sector. It is natural that technology, mechanization has to get more and more shape into the agriculture in a optimized manner, so that the productivity increase is happening. And when particularly our policies are oriented towards income-oriented agriculture, productivity and market dynamics has to go hand in hand. Be it so, we are also moving into various other issues of soil health mapping. Sensor-based soil health today is there all over India, mapping the micronutrients apart from the major nutrients of NPK. That helps our farmers to know what exactly, precisely, what nutrients to apply to their field. We are able to use the satellite technology to geofence our field, agricultural field, so that we are specifically, location specific, farmer specific advisory can be issued just beyond even the weather advisory. Even we are not left to that. We are even coming to the value chain innovations, where the market connectivity, market access for our small and marginal farmers, which is a very, very difficult concept, is being taken up. You must have heard about e-National Agriculture Market, where we are combining almost 7,000 wholesale markets in India. We have done 1,000. We are on the way connecting on a virtual platform. So the farmers with a local market, when they bring the produce to the local market, they have the access to a greater market. There's a trading community from other markets without physically moving their produce to other markets, which is a very, so thereby cost optimizing, getting a better access, getting competitive pricing, getting transparency into the entire deal. So technology, we are not stopping at that. Even we are onto the digital stack phenomena, whereby we are connecting almost 14 crore farm holding farmers into a kind of database, mapping them into the database so that the digitized atmosphere will help not only the government to direct their benefit, direct the schemes to each and every individual farmer who needs it, but also the private sector can use them to leverage their business and do the value additions to the economy the way it should be done to ensure that the economy gallops, not just trots. So given this digital stack, we are moving on to entrepreneurship for farmer. Farmers are no more the producer. Our aim is to ensure that they become the entrepreneurs. The youth in the yesterday, that is yesteryears, we are talking of youth getting away from the agriculture because of the low productivity. It's no more the phenomena. Youths are now streaming into this sector with bubbling ideas, innovativeness in their chest and mind, creativity in their mosaic of activities. They are bringing in innovations to this sphere through technology, and rather I'll say the emerging technologies, the blue chip technologies. Today we see that there are both the startups in upstream segment, that is market and value chain segment, linking to the customers, and the downstream segment where farm to the fork bridging is possible by farmers, agripreneurs, when these startups are connecting, understanding the need of farmers at one hand, understanding the need of the consumers at the other hand, joining them very efficiently and effectively so that there is minimal wastage in the system and it is very, very time efficient and productive. What does it mean? It means it is adding to the economy. That is how our agriculture is contributing more and more. That trend has been reversed since last 2 to 3 years. When the percentage contribution to GDP was coming down, we had once upon a time gone down to 14%. We are wondering what it is when 60% of population and 14% of GDP. Then what is it? Definitely Western thinkers tell us that there has to be a shift from agriculture to industry and service sector. But then industrialization of the agriculture itself is observing that phenomena in such a beautiful shape that we are now reversing that trend. And we saw even during the COVID lockdown, supply chain breakdown, we reversed that trend and ensured that the agriculture is moved up to almost 20% plus contribution to economy. That's possible because of sizable action in terms of production technology, marketing technologies, startups, and combination of that. So, if we are able to move, thanks to our scientific community, thanks to our industry partners, thanks to our young generations in India who have been together joining their hand to say that we stand united in our journey and will make India the food basket, improving our export. We had we had stated ourselves on the ambitious path of doubling our exports from $30 billion to $60 billion. That is in 2018, and we have reached already $40 billion. We have broken into the top 10 category of the exports by entering into the 9th space very clearly. And it will not be very far off when we're moving up in that ladder. India, the powerhouse of agriculture, will unleash its force and it's going to be the food giver. And we are committed to our United Nations development goal, both of sustainability, ending hunger, ending poverty, climate actions, and gender equality. So that is where the technology plays a very, very important role. And we are committed to reducing carbon emissions or the emissions as a whole from Paris Agreement even to the COP26, where we have already even the mechanization technology portions, we are looking at that, how we can reduce the carbon emissions in the tractors, tillers. We have now moved into electric tractor space, ensuring that our emission is reduced while reducing emission in other sphere also. We are very committed, and our Honorable Prime Minister is determined that India comes on the path of zero emission in the long term. And in short term, he has stated in COP26 that we have to reduce by 1 billion ton of emissions. We are certainly on that path in agriculture. We want to make the entire universe safe, carbon free, so that the global warming is reduced and universally the humanity remains safe, well fed, nourished, and healthy. Thank you all for being with us today. And I am very thankful on behalf of India, Indian citizen, that you have given us the opportunity to speak before you and before the media in the Gulf countries. And we are very thankful that our relationship with Gulf and particularly with UAE has been flourishing, gaining from strength to strength. On behalf of Honorable Prime Minister and the citizens of India, we bring the goodies to the people here in the Gulf region and in UAE. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sen sir, for laying down the overall brief of the program and sharing the critical insight about how India is doing well in the agriculture and technologies, from farm irrigation to machinery to the various government schemes which are enabling farmers to get along with the change and development and progress on a day-to-day basis from time to time, and how India can be the food basket to the world. And today we have all the young startups who are being supported by the ministry, and this is the live example how government of India is connected with the stakeholders and doing hand holding for them. Thank you so much. Today we are going to see a lot of success story from the startups. We're going to have some experience from how digitalization in the agriculture is taking place and helping the farmer community and overall growth of the agriculture sector in the country. We will also have an expert talk from one of the UAE-based retailer who we can talk about what are the opportunity for the Indian startups if they want to do operation in Dubai or this region. What are the things they need to take care of? So we will be having his representative later in the show today. Before we move on to the next stage, may I request all the dignitaries for just join us for a photograph opportunity. Yeah, please, sir, on the dais. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we will also have Dr. Aman Puri joining us in some time. Just a second. He got engaged with, yeah, please. Thank you so much. Dr. Aman Puri, the Consul General for India in Dubai, he will be joining us in some time. He was supposed to be here at 11, but some urgent ministerial meeting has come up. So he will join us during the program sometime later. And before we proceed to the next session, I will request all the dignitaries to be seated at the sofa because we need to remove the chairs. I will take a 30-second break and break and request the operation team to remove the chairs. मैंने बोला कि ठीक है ठीक है हम Ministry of Agriculture, Family and Farmers Welfare to come and give his remarks. And request IT team to please upload Mr. V.N. Kale presentation so that he can start his session. Over to you, Kale sir.
Good morning to everybody. Respected Mr. P.K. Swain sir, Additional Secretary, Government of India. Respected Ms. Shavi Jha Madam, Joint Secretary. Respected Sri Priya Ranjan sir, Joint Secretary, Government of India. Respected Mr. T.R. Keshwan, President, TAFE Group and Chairman FICCI. All the participants from various countries, ladies and gentlemen, press and media. Let me first of all thanks for giving me an opportunity to present the strength of India in farm mechanization sector. My presentation will be contains specifically on the present status of farm mechanization of the country, and then strength of India in farm mechanization sector, specifically our industry, and then the policy framework to promote the farm mechanization, and what India can offer as far as farm mechanization is concerned. So my presentation will be in this particular segment. And if you see the scenario of Indian agriculture, agriculture is the main backbone of our Indian economy, and more than 55% of our people livelihood depends on the agriculture. In India, agriculture is not only practiced, but it is worship. And during pandemic period, our Indian agriculture economy has only shown the positive growth, and India is very much blessed by the Almighty God. If you see, next please. India is having a arable land of more than 43%, which is against the average 11% of the world, and round the year cultivation, and 15 agroclimatic zones and 46 soil types suited for round the year cultivation. Ranks first in production of pulses, sorghum, jute and allied fibers, and second largest producer of wheat, rice, groundnut, tea, fruit and vegetables, and sugarcane. Actually, basically, the main constraint behind our farm mechanization growth is that more than 86% are small and marginal farmers. So that's why we have to think about the farm mechanization, particularly for this particular group of farmers. And you can see that one. That means accordingly, as far as small and marginal farmers, so our entire focus of mechanization is within this particular, targeting this particular segment. Next, please. If you see the scenario of our agriculture workforce available, day by day it has been reducing, and now it is expected that by 2050 it may be around 25% of the total workforce available in the country. This is because of the industrialization has been taken place in the country, and that's why the farm mechanization is one of the vital input as far as agriculture is concerned for enhancement of production and productivity is concerned. So next. So if you see the farm power, different source of farm power available in the country, you can see that our tractors growth is reducing, as well as other power sources been increasing, whereas the other source of like animate power or human power has been drastically reducing. Next. So overall, the mechanization in our country is about 55%. Next, please. So if you talk about the industry scenario of our agriculture machinery. You can see that that means the majority of our industry is of from small and marginal farmer, small and marginal industry, SME, and our industry is about more than 10 US million dollar. Next, please. So if you see the total production of tractors, so as our additional secretary has already been told to you that we are the world leader as far as tractor production is concerned, and we have touched more than 9 lakh tractors per annum, and about 10% of the tractors we have been exporting to the various countries, including the European countries as well as the US and other African countries. Next, please. So if you talk about the total India's export, so we have got about more than 20,000 million US dollar this year, and it may be expected to grow more. Next. If you talk about the farm power availability of our country, it is about 2.5 kilowatt per hectare, and we have set a target of about 3.0 kilowatt hectare by 2025 and 4 kilowatt by 2030. Next. As far as the infrastructure for human resource development in the field of farm mechanization is concerned, we have the 4 farm machinery training and testing institute, which are dedicated specifically to impart the training on various operations and other safety aspect of agriculture machinery, ranging from for the different categories from farmers to the manufacturers. Next, please. So, our mandate is of our FMTT is the testing and evaluation of all the agriculture machinery, and we have been testing all the tractors, and we have been also recognized by the OECD for testing of the tractors, and that's very much helpful for the tractor industry to export their tractors in the various OECD member countries. Next, please. So these are some of the glimpses of our institutes. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. So these are the specific glimpses of our testing activities which has been done at our Budni Institute. Next. So apart from our 4 FMTTs, we are also having some of the state agriculture universities, IITs, and state government institutions, specifically to test agriculture machineries. So basically, there's a big network available in India for testing. Basically, the testing, our main objective is that the quality of product should reach to the farmer. That is one of the main aspect of all this creation of the infrastructure. So apart from that one, we are also having the R&D infrastructure available for different agriculture machinery design aspect. Next. Next, please. Actually, we have achieved the target of more than 310 million food grains this year, and now we have to increase our food grain production by 450 million tons by 2050, and this can only be achieved by advanced technologies available, by incorporating the advanced technologies. Next, please. So, to achieve this one, we are having to address these issues. Policy framework of India is available, that to unbundling agriculture services so that economies of our scale of agriculture machinery has to be obtained by unbundling of agriculture services from farmers, and this can be done by promoting the various by custom hiring centers. Then access to credit, the facilities to credit line is also been available to the farmers so as to purchase the farm machinery. Then we have been also focusing the villages where the farm mechanization is very low. Then specifically we are also been promoting the various new innovations like solar energy as well as drones for farm mechanization. Next, please. So this is our policy interventions, and specifically we have been promoting custom hiring center, then high-tech hub for various farm equipments, then creating awareness among the stakeholders through demonstration and capacity building, and then ensuring performance testing. Next, please. So if you so now this drone has newly one of the major, that means new technology which is we are going to be introduced in our agriculture for the specifically for the application of spraying of pesticide as well as for the different soil nutrients, and we can see that one our strength as far as drone industry is concerned. So we have been our industry has been going to touch about more than 900 million by 2021. It has already been reached and expected to reach generate several thousands of jobs within next 3 years, and expected to reach US 2 billion by 2026, and expected investment of more than 600 million by 2025. And to promote all this, the drone technology, we are also in providing the assistance for the to the farmers for purchase of as well as demonstration of technology. So for that purpose, we have already been issued the SOPs for spraying of pesticide and application of soil nutrients. And one of the measures just now introduced by government, that we also introduced the PLI scheme for the drone technology. And it's a very single window approach for the to clear the all the projects under drone. Next, please. So what we can India can offer, we are having a high potential to export the various type of agriculture machineries, including tractors, combine harvesters, power tillers, and other agriculture machineries. And we can also provide the skill, that means bilateral cooperation as far as the training and testing is concerned through our FMDTIs to the various countries, as well as we can also organize G2G as well as B2B meetings with the associations of various countries and our Indian associations for manufacturing, who are manufacturing the various agriculture machinery. We can play mediate role to promote the farm mechanization in the whole globe. So next. So thank you very much for patient listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kale, for your comprehensive presentation, covering both the conducive ecosystem being provided, the policy framework, and the opportunities that India needs to offer. Now, taking the theme forward, may I now invite Mr. T.R. Keswan, Chairman, FICCI National Agriculture Committee and Group President, for his presentation.
Thanks a lot. Respected Additional Secretary, Joint Secretaries, and all my friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm considering the time. I think I'm going to go a little fast. Can I have the slide, please? Okay. What I'm doing is I'm going to skip a few slides. I'm going to come to the next slide. Could you please go? Yeah, that's it. See, one of the questions we always asked is, where is this new technology of agriculture is going to? So whenever you talk about a new technology of agriculture, I think I have to turn this a little bit because I can't see this. See, whenever you look at India, and we are talking about an ecologically sustained manner, getting the farmer, doubling the income or whatever we are doing and reducing wastages, there are 3 levels of wastage reduction. And I genuinely believe that technology is going to come in a big way. It's already started coming and is going to come here in a big way. Let us look at the first thing, at the farm inputs. See, today we have the precision technology, which actually can cut down the utilization of seeds. See, India started with threading the seeds. From that, today you have machines. And our utilization can be something like 70% of seeds or 80% of trees may grow. But today we are really talking about a technology in the precision that almost every seed needs to grow. So I think that's where we are going to lead to. The second is, whenever you look at seeds, you need to also look at water. Unfortunately, in the Indian scenario, when you have water, We are not worried about it. We don't even value water. When there's no water, we get into big arguments why water is not there. So the question is, I think this is, PM has already said that every drop of water to get it converted into a seed. That is how I think the technology is going to link that when you actually place the seed, you also water it on the point of placing the seed. You don't have to water the entire area. So I think that is one more area where technology is going to redefine how we are going to do. Power. Now, many of my tractor friends here, I am also a tractor man, but I think people may not like what I am going to say. I think with the technology coming in, tractor is going to move from a drawbar machine to a non-drawbar machine, because movement of soil is going to cut down. The minute I get into conservative agriculture, I think the movement of soil is actually really going to come down a large extent. So it is going to be seeding, it is going to be watering, it is going to be placing. So it's going to be the power required per tractor or per hectare is going to be completely redefined in time to come. And this we have seen it whenever we have robotics coming into the international market. So I think this is something we need to really believe. So what I'm doing is seeds, power and water, everything need to be controlled. So everything has to be measured. How much I'm using? If I had to grow one seed, don't worry about how much I'm using for a hectare. That have no meaning. For one seed, how much power, how much water, and how much this thing I require. Then the most important is obviously pesticide and fertilizer. That same logic. When I am putting the seed, can I put the fertilizer along? Now we have coated seed, we have fertilizer covered seeds, international markets. I am not getting into that technology because that is nothing to do with mechanization. I am talking about like I do when I put the seed, I put the water, can I put the fertilizer so that it surrounds the seed. That's how it really starts. You know, whenever the initial part of the seeds grows, then the consistency of seed growing is much more easier. Then comes the most important aspect, what I call as less use of pesticides. Why should I use a pesticide if I can avoid using a pesticide? Now that we have technology, I'm not just talking about the precision here. Both pesticide and we really talk about fertilizer. Drones can play a huge part, and we have experienced it. Secretaries were asking me that question today. I said, look, when we tried this experimentation, seeds we could actually come to as much as 50% of utilization. And when it comes to fertilizer and pesticide, fertilizer come to 40% I can save. Whereas pesticide is almost 50% I can save because I am not putting the fertilizer where I don't want it. Second is it is very, very safe for the human being because you are not running around with the fertilizer. So I think these are 4 or 5 areas. Now the most important is, I think this is where we forget, is soil. Now that is why I said conservative. You know, when I do a conservation agriculture, today what happens is I move the entire soil. Just imagine my placement seeds are maybe 9 inches and 8 inches. For that 1 square foot, I'm probably placing 1 seed, I move the entire 1 square foot. The question comes is, do I need to move the entire 1 square foot? Can I do something differently? And I think the conservative agriculture, which we are practicing it, I think this is going to happen in the world very soon. And India will probably drive it in a big way, is what I genuinely believe, because it preserves the moisture content. It does not spoil the soil. And then it makes life easy for the farmer because he don't have to spoil the soil to bring it back to normal. So you really cut down utilization of fertilizer, etc. So these are the 3, 4, 6 areas where I think the technology is going to play a huge role, and there are equipments already available. It's not that it's not available. The question is, how are you going to put it in? Then when the minute you talk about, people ask me a question, then you were going directly to the farm gate. What happened to the harvesting? See, the interesting scenario is today harvesting and the first part of storage is going to run together. It's going to run together. When a harvest is, it is also going to be the first lot of storage. I mean, you have a trailer or a truck or something moving along. And then if you really look at the first 6 parts, whatever is saved here, that goes directly into the farmer's pocket. It has got nothing to do with MSP. It has got nothing to do with what is happening in the market. These are all savings. So I think that is one area where you can actually increase the farmer income. Second is at the farm gate. Basically, it's very important that immediately after we need to have storage, we need to have aggregation and the transportation. One other thing we have been noticing it, traditionally India had a lot of farm gate storages, or every village had storages. Now, I know that there has been a technology, we started linking all the available storages in the country. Now, what is going to really happen here is we are going to tag every storage available and see how we can create the storage which is close to the best storage possible. Every storage need not to be similar in India. I think that's one of the things we always worry about. I'm going to replicate storages. No, whatever is available, can I make it the best possible and give the transparency and availability to people across. Advantage is the capex is already sunk. What are you trying to do? Utilize the capex better. So I think this is one area. Transportation, I think it's a long thing which I'm not going to get into. I'm really concerned about sorting and grading because farmers tend to lose a lot of money because people, when especially middlemen buy, they buy on an average value. So if there is a facility to sort, because India has got a fantastic market. People ask me, do you waste anything of this kind? He said, no. The tabletop goes to a particular quality people. The second level goes to there's somebody else to buy it. Third level goes to somebody else to buy it. But the minute I mix up everything, the poor farmer gets only a very average quality. So if you can create a sorting and grading, this is one area I think technology is going to play a very important part. I mean, it is going to differ from crop to crop, plantation to plantation. So this is an area where I believe digital AI, etc., is going to really jump in and make things live. There are already equipments working. There are already startups working in this area. Market linkage, I don't think I have to talk too much because it's very important that you need to create a market linkage because farmer needs to know what is happening elsewhere, what price he can get, where is my market, so that kind of transparency get built in. Then the other thing is extremely important is not only transparency, also an ability to create traceability. See, I'm not talking export at this point. The minute I'm talking about exports or the minute I'm talking about high-end customers, they are looking for traceability. Ye kidhar se aaya? Is it organic? Really organic? If it is organic, how can you say it is organic? What is my traceability that proving that is organic? Now, this is absolutely blockchain and you can very easily do it. Some of the startups have already started doing it. Now, next slide, please. I'm going to stop at 2 slides. I'm not going to go big. See, one more area, again, I'm going to talk this clue from Additional Secretary said, today we are talking about the educated people are not willing to go into traditional agriculture. But what I noticed is educated people are willing to go into technology agriculture. The minute I get into the drones, the minute I get into the artificial intelligence, etc., I'm able to get ample people to do work for. But we are really talking about a change the way we are going to do. We talked about tractorization. India was a tractorized market than a mechanized market. Now, I think what is going to happen is, like what happened to your mobile phone scenario, where you went from a hand boom boom, you are the number 1 mobile phone market in the world. I think what is going to happen is from tractorization, I think we are going to end up in a digitalization. So we may skip some part of the mechanization, what the international market has gone through, because I don't need it. I mean, and what is the advantage of this digitalization? Digitalization, small farm or a big farm, doesn't make any difference. That's a huge advantage. Today we have, I can share some of the things. I'm sure Anthony may talk something about it. If you're talking about de-weeding, I got small robots that can do the re-weeding, which has got a solar power system. Now it may cover half an acre per 4 hours or 5 hours. But the question is, if I have one of them, and if I got 5 acres, I can keep running it. I don't want anybody else. If I got 1,000 acres, I can create into a swarm technology. I can put many of them working together, talking each other and doing the job. And this is what I am going to believe that the international power of how tractors are used is going to come down. See, internationally, the power of tractors went up to 500,000, etc., because they didn't have people. Instead of having 10 people running a 50 horsepower, he said 1 man 500 horsepower. But the minute I am going to remove the people, I don't believe in India we will remove the people. Autonomous is fine, but we are going to be semi-autonomous. Internationally, it can be completely autonomous. So then you are talking about small vehicles talking to each other. What is the advantage? A 500 horsepower tractor, if it fails, it is one-time boom. Whereas if I got 10 small tractors, the chances of failure is so small, so that at least 9 will be working. So I think this is where things are going to change, and I genuinely believe India can really, really push this area, because whenever it talks about volume, whenever it got smaller, I think we have always had a big, big advantage. Now, quickly, next. I think this is something we know about the Agri Infrastructure Fund and FPOs and digital smart agriculture. I talked a lot. Now, FPOs is something, again, I believe is going to link to technology. Why FPOs need to link to technology? Because every single thing I talked about is also extremely important for FPOs. We have a problem in the FPOs, which I think we talk about it quite a bit, because it's a very loosely held organization. So sometimes decision making becomes little difficult. Now, how do I make a decision making simple? If the data is on your table and everybody can access the same data, then I think most likely you will end up making a same and the right decision. Last thing I wanted to talk about is next. I'm not really getting into nano and seeds, etc., because that may be a little away from my market. Can you just go to the zero hunger slide, please? Next. Yeah, just leave it there. I'm not going to talk on the left. I'm going to talk on this side. See, we talked about areas like this. Now, hydroponics. People always ask me vertical. See, the problem in India is we got abundant sun. So the question is, if I do vertical, I must be able to utilize the existing sun. And that's how it has to be. So then it has to be cheap. Because remember one thing, we are very, very cost conscious. People call it frugal, but we are extremely cost conscious. And so there have been technologies coming up where I can have very simple hydroponic system, 1/10 to 1/15 the international cost. That is where I think things are going to change. And people, you will really wonder when you see that. And the entire thing is controlled by sensors, etc. Because the hydroponics enabled means to embed a sensor compared to what happens in the field. In the field, I need to have non-contact sensor is better if I am not getting into plantations. I mean long-term crops. If I am getting into regular row crops, then it becomes non-contact sensor the only way I can go. But if I am getting into hydroponics, if I am getting into areas like plantations or long time products, I can get into contact sensors, etc. This is one area I think is going to again change. Vertical farming, I'm going to skip. I talked about drone. Data analytics, it's a very important function. I think that is maybe the next group is going to be startups. See, one thing people forget, I think there's something the international companies are coming to the India and they talk to us regarding data. I told him farmer does not need data. Farmer needs a solution, and that fellow needs a solution today, because he will come to you when there is a problem, otherwise he is not going to come to you. So I think there is a huge scope of startups to collect the data, what is already available both by the international people or also by Government of India. I know Government of India is going to come with a very big, large data bank. People are working on it. So you require a set of startups who will be able to pick that up and convert that into a solution to the farmer. And what I noticed is FICCI works with 150 startups every year, different startups. And what I noticed is all the fellows who have succeeded and made it sustainable are the people who gave solutions, not the people who gave data. The fellows who gave data, they just can't scale it up because it's not possible for them. And the thing is, I don't want that. I mean, that's the first question. I mean, why the heck a farmer needs your data? The farmer needs a solution. They are talking about a farmer which is 5 acres and half acres and 10 acres, and that fellow doesn't need the data. So I think we need to have a slight different mindset when you apply technology. Technology is great, absolutely great. But if technology doesn't give a solution to the people, is also true with any area, medical or anywhere. Great technologies need to ensure that you have bigger longevity. Great technology in agriculture need to ensure that every farmer is happy to get a solution. So I'm going to stop here, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Kesman, for sharing how India is ready for catalyzing cross-border technology development for scaling agri-technology and what is required. Now, going forward to the next speaker, I would like to invite Mr. Anthony Cherukara, CEO VST Trailers Tractors Limited, for his presentation.
Good morning to all of you. I would be speaking on India as an attractive market and manufacturing destination for small farm mechanization. I think enough has been said about the size of farmers or the farmlands that is owned by farmers in India. Can we move to the next slide, please? So this is the range of equipment that actually covers the small and marginal farmers mechanization. Here you would, although we as a company make tractors as well, but as you can see, the tractor photo is not in the picture. Move to the next slide, please. So enough stats has been given on what goes on in India in terms of mechanization. I want to draw up only 2 points on this slide. One is Mr. Kesavan also spoke about FPOs, and the collective strength of farmers, small farmers coming together is something that India is realizing in a big way. And I think that is going to change the scenario in terms of owning of farm machines, being productive when it is needed, because you have only a few weeks before your sowing can be completed or your harvesting can be done. So driving single individual ownership is going to be key, and that is where small farm mechanization come in, and that is where the strength of the collective purchase power of FPOs actually come in. Move on to the next slide, please. A lot of things has been said about agriculture mechanization in India, but I would like to throw up a couple of stats on this slide. One is the size of the power tiller industry in various countries neighboring to India as well. You can see it is much larger than ours. Given the small farm sizes, this industry is growing in India. There is a huge opportunity in India for small farm mechanization manufacture and marketing. Move on. One of the aspects is the global farm mechanization industry is expected to grow from about $196 billion to about $329 billion by FY25, and the Indian market from about $13 billion to about $18 billion. So the interesting aspect is the Indian market of the 13 billion, predominantly it covers tractors, which is almost 81% of it. The rest of the mechanization has got a long way to grow. There is a large opportunity as an Indian market, especially considering the fact that more power is required for ensuring the tons per hectare that many spoke about. That is about 4 tons per hectare that we need to produce by the year 2030. Move on. I'll skip this slide. This again comparing stats. Just digging a little deep into small farm mechanization and small farm sizes. We looked at what does the farmer really do. We in the tractor industry know very well that there is a large use of tractors in commercial applications or renting out. But what we see in the small farm mechanization industry is almost 80% of the purchasers use it for themselves. They rarely rent it out. That leads to that single aspect that owning is for their own use and their own sustenance or profitable income making from agriculture. The second aspect is we looked at all the regions of India, whether it is the same, and we found that it is the same, and most of the purchasers of small farm mechanization is a first time buyer, which means that they are moving from no mechanization to mechanization, going through the route of taking small farm mechanization. Next slide. As you can see, one of the big change that is happening in India is availability of finance and availability of capital, whoever wants it. So one of the key aspects driving this change in the potential market is how easy is finance available to that farmer. I can state a few examples where we have installed, Mr. Kesavan talked about Digital India and digitalization, and we installed Paytm machines or the credit card machines. So for our own surprise, we realized that the transactions that is happening on each machine at the dealership or the sales outlets are growing exponentially every month. So that is something amazing that is happening in India. The internet connection, the availability of digital payments, the availability and ease for the farmers to do digital transaction with Kisan credit cards has tremendously helped mechanization, and this also opens up an opportunity for anyone who wants to enter India and market their products. Move on. The key aspect of growth of mechanization in India, especially in the small farm space, as you can see, there has been tremendous growth. If you look at the power weeder segment, for example, from merely about sale of 40,000 power weeders, this year we are expected to close at more than 150,000 power tillers. That is real exponential growth that is happening. That is also fueled by digitization, that is also fueled by FPOs, that is also fueled by great policies from the government, which actually makes it progressive for the farmers to adopt technology. Move on. As you can see from the map of India here, the green portions are where the small farm mechanization, especially power tillers, are very much adapted. It has multiple reasons to it. One is, of course, the paddy cultivation, where the puddling is required to be done. The other reason has been the non-availability or accessibility of these machines in the northern part of the market, where while the soil is not so hard as the southern part or the Deccan Plateau, which is the middle of India. However, it was not adopted, and a lot of work is going on. That creates a lot of opportunity for growth for power tillers and power weeders in rest of the country as well. Move on. This is a quick overview of the power weeders. You can move on to the next slide. Huge manufacturing capacity is created, and this is a huge opportunity in India. There is already power tiller industry which has more than 100,000 capacity of manufacturing power tillers. There is also additional support provided by various governments, especially state governments in India, where farm parks and technology parks are being promoted for investment, even in mechanization. The state I come from, in Karnataka, there are specific schemes for putting up mechanization industry. Move on. The industry in India has also been exporting, as Mr. Kesavan said. This is our own stats, where we export a lot of our tractors to Europe, especially the compact tractors which are used in the vineyards of all the Western European countries, as you can see, Germany, Spain, France, Portugal. We are also exporting our tractors to, and similarly all of the industry in India is exporting to all the major markets in the world. Move on. One of the key aspects of India's growth in agriculture mechanization is its ability to collaborate. We ourselves have collaborated with multiple companies to bring in technology in India, to manufacture for them. Couple of things that we are doing is manufacturing for some European companies like Zetor. We are also invested into Monarch, which is again electric and driver optional tractor, which is actually being launched in the US market. Move on. As I said, the key of success in the Indian market is awareness, of course, availability, and more than availability in the small farm mechanization, it is accessibility, which means when he gets out of his house, the nearest shop should have the material available, because he doesn't travel kilometers to get his machine. So accessibility is key. Affordability through innovation, that is going to be critical to succeed in India. And the ability, how do you train them? Kale Saab spoke about how training institutes are required, and how that is so important to use it without having to complicate his life with complicated machines. So the ability and the Atmanirbhar, as in his own ability to use it by himself, is also very critical. It is, as I said, it is important to innovate. Innovation is very critical for farmers. What he needs at his farm is what has to be given to him to improve his productivity. So a lot of programs, Government of India and the industries, organizations have promoted innovation. Move on. And the next most critical thing is about servicing of your machines. So the service has to be available 24/7, 365 days, especially when the agriculture season is on. It is extremely critical. With this, I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what is small farm mechanization all about for India. Thank you so much.
So much, Mr. Anthony Cherupka, for covering the small farmer and marginal farmer. We'll move to the question answers later. We have with us Mr. Dr. Aman Puri, Consul General of India in Dubai. Please welcome Dr. Aman Puri.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to introduce Dr. Aman Puri, Consulate General of India in Dubai. He's our brand ambassadors of the government India, and probably the brand ambassador for our business community as well as our agricultural world, based in the Gulf in a very important city of Dubai. A member of the Indian Foreign Service. I've seen him working in Delhi, a very efficient and dynamic bureaucrat. Please give a big hand to him, Dr. Aman Kori. Please, I invite you to speak few words to our people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar. Assalamu alaikum. Very good morning to all of you. Mr. Swain, Additional Secretary, Ms. Chavija, Joint Secretary, senior delegates from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm truly delighted to join all of you here at this very important session where we are reflecting upon the opportunities and challenges in this sector and how India is truly transforming the lives of its farmers, our brothers and sisters, by using technology and innovation. Of course, you're all aware that the India Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai has been showcasing the enormous opportunities of India across various sectors. We've been having experts, government officials, political leaders, honorable ministers, chief ministers, union cabinet ministers coming and sharing their views on how the government is working closely with key stakeholders to transform India and to engage India with the world. Along with 192 participating countries, India has had a very emphatic and significant participation at this Global Expo. This Global Expo in Dubai is very close to the heart of India. In the last 170 years history of World Expos, this is the first time that this global event is being hosted in the region of Middle East, Africa and South Asia. Not only that, not only the geographical proximity with India, but also the 3.3 million strong and vibrant Indian community living here in UAE have participated in a very big way at Expo 2020 Dubai. You've all seen the India Pavilion. We've used this opportunity to organize B2B engagements, B2G engagements, G2G engagements, and over 1,000 such events have been organized here since 1st October last year. We're also very proud of showcasing India's innovation in various sectors and truly proud of the amazing work being done by our young and talented individuals in India and globally. We have this India Innovation Hub, a specially designed mobile platform to showcase innovation, and till date, we've been able to showcase more than 400 startups in various sectors here. Over the course of next 40 odd days, till the end of March, we will be bringing 400 more startups from across the length and breadth of the country. We are working with key institutions like the Indian Institute of Technologies in India to identify the outstanding innovative products and services which can be showcased at this platform. And of course, that includes several innovations from the sector of agriculture. Recently, we had hosted a session where some of the startups in this sector were showcasing their work. And what was really heartening to see was that how our youngsters in the urban areas who've got the opportunities to go to prestigious institutions of academic excellence, beyond that, they were able to go abroad and work in global institutions, organizations, companies, etc. And eventually they realized where their heart lies. And many of them came back armed with that knowledge, expertise, skill, and wanted to share that gift with their brothers and sisters perhaps less fortunate ones who did not get similar opportunities for academic growth and professional growth, but who've been working very hard on the farms. And now we are seeing how the best of the ideas from across the globe are being connected, and what we call startups is really nothing less than a revolution in India. Last year, 2021, has been a landmark year for India's innovation story, India's startup story. Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, declared January 16th as a National Startup Day to signify the importance given to the startups. And he was very categorical. He mentioned that the government alone cannot address the complex challenges faced within the country, and we will be working with all our key stakeholders, the people of the country, to ensure that we can address these challenges, and only together we'll make it happen. He said that the startups are the backbone of New India, and this decade will be the decade of India. Last year, India created 44 unicorns, the most successful year so far. And of course, 2022 will be no exception. Already we have created 9 unicorns. And what is also very interesting is, if you look at the unicorn story globally, and you study the unicorns that have been created in the United States of America, 500 plus, a significant proportion of the co-founders happen to be Indian Americans, immigrants coming from India, who have the drive to create innovation. And India, which is home to 1/6 of humanity, must make its rightful contribution to innovation and to addressing global challenges. Along with our brothers and sisters from different parts of the world, Dubai truly is a gateway for Indian businesses to the Middle East and North Africa region and beyond. And we truly value this opportunity, this platform, the Expo 2020 Dubai, for India's engagement with UAE and various other parts of the world. You would have heard on the 18th of February, in a virtual summit, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and the Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, oversaw the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between the two countries. And this is poised to take our pre-COVID trade of $60 billion to $100 billion in the next 5 years, and a trade in services would be added by another $15 billion. We are already seeing huge interest amongst the business community, huge enthusiasm to take full advantage of these measures, of the success of the two countries in negotiating this agreement. And I must add that the negotiations began last September, and this is one of the fastest negotiated agreement of its kind globally. This reflects the close and brotherly relation between India and UAE. And of course, today what we see truly is that the relationship between UAE and India is at a historic inflection point. And through our relationship with the UAE, we also are very keen to take advantage of this connectivity which UAE has with other GCC countries, Middle East, North Africa. And that is also an area where we are very much focused on, and we see huge value in terms of working with our brothers and sisters from this entire region to address common challenges, to look at how we can learn from you, how we can get some of those best practices to be brought for our Indian farmers to be utilized in making their lives better. The aspiration of the Government of India, Prime Minister, is to double farmers' income, and we are working consistently on that objective. We will continue to do so. Lastly, I would like to say before I conclude that this India Pavilion at the Expo 2020 Dubai is a permanent legacy structure, one of the very few countries which have been honored by the UAE leadership to have a permanent presence here. The land has been graciously gifted by the UAE leadership, by the government, to India, and this structure will continue to serve as a landmark of India in the UAE, continue to showcase India's vibrant growth story, continue to serve the Indian community, the Indian businesses as a platform to connect with their global counterparts, and we will have a major focus on showcasing our innovation and to ensure that our startups can meet their global counterparts here, build strategic partnerships, find avenues for more growth in business, and also seek investments as they move forward. So with these words, I'd like to request all of you to continue using this platform as an opportunity for India to engage with the world. And thank you so much for your presence here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Puri, gracing the occasion with your presence and inspiring speech. Now, before we move on to continue with our session, I would just request for a small photograph with Dr. Puri and the speakers on stage, please, and the government dignitaries, please. All speakers and government officials, please. Thank you. Now we continue with our theme of emerging technologies in Indian farm machinery and sector. We had a presentation from Mr. V.N. Kale, Mr. T.R. Keswan, and Mr. Anthony Cherukara. Now we open that session and discussion. So in case anybody has questions for them, they can raise it, and we'll be happy to answer them. Any questions for the first theme, which was on emerging technologies in Indian farm machinery sector? Any questions? Okay. So moving forward to our next theme, which is on scenario for agri startups in India, I would request Ms. Chavi Jha, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Farms Welfare, for her address, please, and presentation. Thank you.
Namaskar, Additional Secretary Shri Prashant Swai, Mr. Puri, and ladies and gentlemen. I will keep my presentation really short. The theme of this particular session was basically technology. So it was mechanization, startups, as well as digitization. So I'm tackling the second part. So we have already heard a lot about unicorns and decacorns from India. But my presentation is basically about the agri sector, which is we have started, that is our contribution, which is a small scheme that we run in the Ministry of Agriculture for agriculture and allied sectors. And we have already seeded about 800 startups through this scheme. Our aim is, of course, that, our farmers, the problems they are facing are addressed through these startups, and we also create lots of job opportunities for our youth. So let me just give you a very short presentation on the kind of scheme that we run. Please, next slide, please. So these are some statistics which I will skip, where we already know that India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and every 9th agri-tech startup originates from India. And so it's a very important field, as we already know. Next one, please. So this is the scheme that we are running in the Ministry of Agriculture. Actually, we have a number of schemes run by many departments for startups. That is Department of Science and Technology, MSME, so many others. And our scheme is the one that we run in the Department of Agriculture, the RKVY Raftar scheme. And some of our startups that have been seeded through this scheme are also present here today to showcase their innovations. Move on, please. So our scheme is basically about two kinds of funding. We give grant, a pre-seed grant up to 5 lakhs and another grant up to 25 lakhs for those startups that have proof of concept already ready. And I have about 29 incubators. There are 5 centers of excellence and 24 incubators all over the country. Most of these are ICAR institutes that I have used as that we use as incubators, and apart from that, we also have some IITs, IIMs, which we have appointed as our incubators. Please move on. Yeah, this is the list, and it is basically one institute per state, except for 1 or 2 states that have been left out for some reason. But it is basically one incubator per state of India. Please move on. Yeah, and our startups work in many sectors, as we have already displayed here. Could be in natural resource management, could be for waste to wealth, precision agriculture, fintech, etc., etc. And there is also a breakup of state-wise seeding of startups. Please move on. Yeah, so this is the multiply. We can skip that. Next one. That's all. So this is just a short presentation regarding the scheme. Now we will have some showcase from the startups themselves. Thank you so much.
Now may I invite Mr. Harsh Agarwal, Nerex Technovation Private Limited, for his presentation.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Harsh Agrawal, co-founder of Nerex, and I thank everyone for giving us this opportunity to be standing here in front of esteemed dignitaries. And I'll start with a video of what we are doing as a company, as a startup, and how we have evolved, throughout these years. So, video, please.
One of the things that everyone on Earth has in common is the need for food. As a result, agricultural production plays a pivotal role in the world economy. Agriculture from the past decade has become extremely vulnerable to climate change. With water scarcity and tired soil, it becomes even more difficult to fulfill growing food demand. Data supplemented by IoT tools and technology has the potential to change how we grow our crops, reduce input cost and feed ever-growing population. Introducing Shul, first of a kind made in India soil sensor. Shul is a robust field-friendly device that communicates wirelessly to mobile app. It logs soil dielectric, soil moisture, EC, salinity and soil temperature. When soil gets too dry or too wet, crops fail and their prices go up, so it's important for us to be able to measure soil moisture accurately. In the past, soil sensors have been expensive and unreliable, but Shul is 97% accurate and cost-effective. Shul now integrates easily with other sensors. For farm analytics, with farm-specific satellite data, our algorithms adjust itself based on crop and soil type, geography and farm practices. Nerex has been on a mission to reduce guesswork in agriculture. It will soon be launching a farmer-friendly mobile app. It will help monitor, forecast and plan crop needs for the farmer. With Shul, farmers save up to 50% water, incur reduced input cost and have seen overall increase in productivity.
Thank you. So with the support from Ministry's RKVR FTAR program, we were able to scale from 1 city to across 10 states in India now. And Chulu is not just making mark in India but across the globe. In a study published by UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology under UK government, Shul was recognized as one of the most emerging technologies in the field of precision agriculture, and the top 5 tools that can enable agriculture, in coming eras. As Kesavan sir and Swen sir highlighted, that we have to move from data to information now, and we have been able to achieve that with our full stack platform, whereby data is the input at the back end, but on the front end we are helping farmers and agri-businesses with data, with information such as irrigation advisory, pesticide management, nutrient management at scale, and that combines not just the sensor data, not just the crop algorithms, but the satellite forecasted data as well. The pricing of the tool starts at as low as $150 in the Indian market, and has the ability to bring in the new era of sustainable agriculture. At the Expo, we are looking forward to partner with countries which are developing and are more focused on agriculture as an economy. We are also seeking good investment opportunities. We have already raised pre-seed round in India, but now we are looking to expand globally as well as seek investment opportunities here at the Expo in Dubai. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Harsh Agarwal, for this presentation and showcasing your startup technology. Now we have any questions for the session on the scenario of agri startups in India, where Ms. Chavi Jha, Joint Secretary, and Mr. Harsh Agarwal presented. Any questions for them? Any questions? So we move on to our next theme, which is India's strides in digital agriculture. And here I now again invite Ms. Chavi Jha, Joint Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, for her presentation on digital agriculture. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is the last of our three themes today. Mr. Keshwan has already highlighted the importance of digital agriculture and what now we are planning trying to do in the ministry, which could actually be a game changer in many ways. Next one, please. So what we are trying to do in the ministry is to create a farmers database. This is a huge task because, as you know, we have more than 10 crore farmers. So getting this done is a big job, but then it will really create such a rich database which can be used by government as well as the private sector. So this is what we are trying to do. Then the architecture is called IDEA for the farmers database. We are trying to create an agri data exchange to be created with the public and private players. The agri stack will be built, which, as I said, could revolutionize a lot of things. Proof of concepts have been initiated across the country, and 10 MOU partners. We have signed MOUs with 10 companies for this. We are also supporting all our state governments to partner with us for creation of this database, which will be like a federated database. And through the Mahalanobis Center for Crop Forecasting, we are also collaborating with the private sector in a lot of areas like prediction of crop area, etc., and weather forecasting, etc. Please move on. Yeah. So the scope for digital agriculture is endless in India. Indian agri-tech originated about 10 years back. Inflection point was 2017-18. We have 1200 plus agri-techs and startups already working in the country. I will skip some of this data, but we have a lot of very good startups like Cropin, Satshore, who are already using a lot of digitization and will help us in the years to come. Aage badhiye, please. Next one, please. Yeah. Opportunities for digital agriculture enable precise and timely delivery of agriculture input, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. Creating or sending advisories to farmers. We have given some examples of startups who are already working in this field. Then post-harvest aggregation, distribution of farm produce could be areas. Then specialized focus value chain. Value chain is very important because we have a lot of wastage of food products in India which we need to address. So this needs to be really addressed. Warehousing companies are building market linkage capacities. Then crop loans, credit, actually the fintech space is also, we have a lot of startups working in the fintech space. So here credit scores of farmers, etc. A lot of work is being done which should reach fruition soon and which will really change the scenario for digitization in agriculture. Next one, please. This is actually more or less a repeat of that, what we have already discussed, but timely and accurate data on farm, weather, soil, these kinds of advisories will be enabled through digitization. Then mobile phones, drones we have already discussed. Drones is an emerging area. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, as Neerex has already demonstrated. All these areas are there, and our farmers will benefit through these. Robotics, etc. All these features are coming into agriculture through our startups and companies. Please move on. So these are the enabling ecosystems. I have already mentioned we have startups, we have incubators, acceleration programs, corporate connect, village ecosystems. FPOs actually could be one area where, once they are federated, our FPOs, they can really pick up new technology and our startups can pitch to them. So that will really increase the uptake of new technology. And the digital platforms, AgriStack, which is very important, I have already pointed out. Next one, please. These are some of our incubators, our partners with the digital ecosystem, with digital agriculture. So that is what this slide is meant to show. Yeah. And agri-tech investments have exploded over the past 3 years. Deal sizes are maturing, signifying investor confidence. Yeah. Yeah. So for digital agriculture, we look forward to partnerships with the whole world. And this could, as I said, be a game changer for our farmers. Thank you very much. So we have, some partners who will demonstrate live examples of how this can change lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sabi ma'am, for talking to us about the digital agriculture and what support government of India is providing to the startups. Now we go ahead with the 4 presentations from the startups. I request all of you to be limited to your 5 minutes time. Now may I invite Mr. Ben Varghese Matthew from NinjaGuard to come and give his short presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, so hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben Matthew. I lead strategy and growth at NinjaCard. So, just a quick overview of the company. We basically are a digital platform that works on bringing more income to the producers or the farmers. We work across the country in India, work with about approximately 60,000 farmers and 1 lakh retailers, trying to create a completely tech-enabled direct digital infrastructure to help farmers directly sell to these small businesses. We are backed by Walmart, Tiger Global, Axel, raised about $350 million, valued at roughly about $1 billion. So this just map shows what the inefficiencies are in the agri ecosystem, specifically in the fruits and vegetable ecosystem that we are working. So on the farmer side, there are about 85% farmers who are smallholder farmers and highly distributed across the country. And on the other side, these are retailers. 88% of the retail, fruits and vegetable retail that happens in India happens through small kirana stores, unlike institutional organized retailers in other developed countries. Now, between them, between the farmer as well as the retailer, there are multiple intermediaries. Farmer supplies the produce to a local broker, who will supply to a local mandi. Local mandi, which for example would be in a village, would send the produce to a destination mandi in Bangalore, from where there would be a distributor who would supply the produce to the retailers. So there are almost 5 to 7 participants, intermediaries between this farmer as well as this retailer. This leads to a couple of challenges that we see. One is it leads to almost 50% of the value of the produce that the retailer pays going to these different intermediaries. So if the produce sells for 50 cents a kg, farmer or retailer buys at 50 cents a kg, farmer gets only 20 to 25 cents per kg. Second is because of multiple intermediaries in the channel, especially in fruits and vegetables, there is almost 25 to 30% of the produce that gets wasted due to a mismatching of the right demand at the right supply at the right price, right? And the third thing is, even today how the ecosystem works is whatever produce comes to, for example, a Bangalore mandi, it gets decided only in the morning or the previous evening. So there may be days where the supply is more than what is actually required, or there are days when supply is less than what is actually required. What that leads to is huge fluctuation in pricing, which leads to lesser realization for the farmer because of reasons that the farmer doesn't have in their control, right? So these are the different ecosystem challenges that we're working on. And lastly is that the farmer typically gets money for the produce that they have supplied only in 10 to 30 days, with about 2% of the times where they don't get the money at all, or it leads to bad collection. So if you can go to the next so these are the list of challenges that I mentioned that the farmers typically face. 50% margins end up going to these multiple intermediaries. About 30% of the fresh fruits and vegetables gets wasted in this longish value chain. There is no accurate matching of demand and supply, which leads to fluctuation in pricing and no exact predictability on what the farmer can realize. And lastly, farmer getting the money after a long period of time. Can you just go to the next slide? Next slide again. So this is what we have built, a completely tech-enabled ecosystem to give this better price realization to the farmer. We have a tech-enabled collection center with procurement executives across the country, about 300 collection centers across the country. We have this produce is basically gets collected in fixed crates which come with RFID tags, which gives unique identity for the every crate that comes enters into a supply chain. So whenever a retailer gets a produce, there is some issue, for example with tomato quality, we are able to trace back which farmer, which collection center, which vehicle, which laborer had moved that item. So we are able to trace that back. The item from a village collection center moves to a large fulfillment center, for example, in a city like Bangalore. From there, the item moves to distribution centers, which are very close to these customers. So customers either come and pick up from the collection center, or we facilitate deliveries to the customers from these collection centers. And every logistics player that we would work in the middle are individual entrepreneurs, truck owners, or Tata Ace owners, auto owners, bike drivers, who we directly work with on board on our platform, right? So this is what we do. Can we move to the next slide, please? So these are basically the improved tech-enabled efficiency that we are working on enabling, that we've been enabling farmers and retailers. We've been working over the last 6 years, enabling farmers to get almost 20% better price, enabling farmers to get money directly into their bank accounts next day itself. One-stop shop for the farmer to sell any kind of produce that they produce, be it any fruits or vegetable. On the retailer side, helping them get the produce at 10% lower price, helping the retailers instead of going 4 a.m. in the mandi and trying to sort items that they need, meeting their quality, we deliver this produce directly to their retail shop at 6 a.m. next day, and consistent quality. So there's no less predictability on the quality, but because we sort the quality procure what the right quality is at the farm gate, we are able to give them a consent quality. So this is basically the infrastructure that we have developed. And two massive initiatives that we are launching. So we've built this in India and going deeper in across multiple crop categories. But now two big things that we're launching globally or working on is, number one is, over the last 6 years we've built this elaborate technology stack, almost 15 different tech products serving a farmer, serving multiple operational agents, logistic partners, as well as retailer. This entire tech stack we are working on helping similar companies in other parts of the world: Indonesia, Philippines, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Colombia. Companies similar to NinjaCard now emerging in other countries. We are making this tech stack available to them so that they can also grow with more efficient utilization of capital, as well as get to a successful model similar to this in their respective countries. That is number one. Number two is, we are also building a global trade platform, so enabling producers, these farmers in one country, to be able to directly trade with large retailers sitting out of Middle East, large retailers in US or Europe, enabling them to directly track. So the value chain I showed you with multiple participants, this exists in global trade as well. So there is an exporter, importer in the middle, and also there are brokers who facilitate on both sides of the source and destination country. So we want to create a platform, again very similar to what we've done in the domestic market, where we are able to help farmer get at least 80% of the realization that the retailer would pay at the destination location. So these are two things that we are working on, and which is why we are here in UAE. So we would be open to partnering, would love to partner with people who are looking to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ben Matthew. Now may I invite Dr. Shankar Goenka, who is the Managing Director for Wow Go Green Limited.
Good morning everyone. Namaskar. कैसे हैं आप लोग? Thank you very much. मेरा नाम शंकर गोयंका है and I represent a company called Wow Go Green, और हम ड्रोन बनाते हैं जिसका नाम है किसान का विमान, कृषि विमान. So next please. Sir, we have started this program just last year and would like to happy to tell you, sir, as of date, standing in front of you, we are the largest manufacturing capacity in the country, where we manufacture 600 drones per month, sir. And we will enhance this capacity, ma'am, to 1,000 drones a month by March. Our agriculture drone, sir, it has got all the facilities. And sir, in India, if you see from Indian perspective, the people, they are manufacturing drones, some are giving different facilities, some are doing training, but we, sir, at our organization, we have a complete package giving to our farmers and entrepreneurs, sir. Sir, in India, we have 7213 blocks in the country, and by March 2023, we have a plan to have one drone in every block of the country. Next, please. Sir, for the first time in the history, sir, IFCO Fertilizers, which is the largest chemical fertilizer manufacturer company in the world, sir, उन्होंने nano urea को बनाया. Now the beauty of this nano urea is, sir, okay, next please. What happens? एक 45 किलो का जो यूरिया का बैग है, वो एक 500 ml की बॉटल से सर रिप्लेस हुआ. So to carry even one bag of urea, sir, you need to have bus, motorcycle, something. But nano bottle, you can just put it in a pocket and you can go around. So this is, and sir, sir, you'll be very happy to know this has happened for the first time in the world, done by an Indian company. So when we went to ministry and many of the presentations we did, they says कि गोयंका साहब ये इजिप्ट ने नहीं बनाया, चाइना ने नहीं बनाया, इजराइल ने नहीं बनाया. मैंने कहा नहीं सर, ये पहली बार इंडिया ने बनाया. And we have a target to reach each and every farmer and remove urea out of this thing. एक छोटा सा information to all my audience कि यूरिया के अंदर सर नाइट्रोजन कंटेंट इज 46% और इसके अंदर नाइट्रोजन कंटेंट इज ओनली 4%. सर जब यूरिया खेतों में छिड़का जाता है तो यदि वो जमीन पे गिरता है तो जमीन को खराब करता है, पानी में लगा तो पानी को खराब करता है, एयर में लगा तो एयर को खराब करता है. और खाली 20% यूरिया यूज होता है सर पौधों में और 80% वेस्ट होता है। नैनो के अंदर बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है सर। जब ये छिड़काव करता है सर तो 80% यूज होता है और खाली 20% ही मतलब खराब होता है। और नेक्स्ट प्लीज। तो इसी टेक्नोलॉजी को ध्यान में रखकर हमने ड्रोन लाए सर। And there is a very big social angle into this program, and that is how I got associated with this drone information, because I run schools called Goenka Public Schools, and there is a big humanity ground out of it. So sir, you will be very surprised to know sir, India के अंदर 58,000 people die due to snake bites in farmland sir. और करीब 3 से 4 लाख लोग सर बीमार होते हैं ड्यू टू द इनहेल ऑफ दिस पेस्टिसाइड, दांत, दमा, खुजली, अस्थमा, लीवर, ब्रोंकाइटिस, एंड सो मेनी फैक्टर्स दे गेट इन्फेक्टेड. बट सर व्हेन यू डू द स्प्रिंग थ्रू ड्रोन, आई एम श्योर विल बी एबल टू सो मेनी फार्मर्स. और मुझे लगता है सर जीवन काल में यदि मैंने 10 लोगों की भी जिंदगी बचाई तो मुझे लगता है कि ईश्वर मेरा जीवन सार्थक कर देगा. सो दैट वाज द होल इनिशिएटिव ऑफ टेकिंग दिस प्रोग्राम इट फॉरवर्ड. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. And sir, this is an advantage, as I says, कि drone versus manual spraying. So it saves labor, it saves time, it is cost effective, and at the same time it is accuracy. Sir, about Government of India, sir. Sir, we started our first training on 28th of November, sir. And 8th December we came out with the first batch. And all the farmers said कि सर हमारे देश में इसकी सब्सिडी नहीं हो सकती क्या, इसको फार्म का इक्विपमेंट नहीं गिना जा सकता है. So sir, 8th we finished the training, ma'am. All the farmers have written a letter to Government of India, Ministry of Agriculture, and to our Honorable Prime Minister. And sir, within 36 days, on 17th November, Government of India had come out with the policy of giving subsidy on drones. I believe this has happened for the first time in the history of India. कि 36 के अंदर it has become the policy. Next, please. The advantage of drone spraying is, sir, it takes only 5 to 7 minutes to spray 1 acre, sir. It reduces the input cost by 15 to 25%, sir. जब आप ड्रोन से कोई भी चीज छिड़कते हैं सर तो 15 से 30% आपका इनपुट कॉस्ट कम आता है. सर, इंडिया इंपोर्ट्स एंड स्प्रेज अबाउट 63,250 tons of pesticides, sir. Just imagine, even if there is a reduction by 25%, we would be able to save about 16,000 tons of pesticides, which is something very big, sir. सर, द आउटपुट विल गो बाय 8 to 15%. क्योंकि सर जब ड्रोन से आप छिड़कते हैं तो सर द स्पीड इज वेरी फास्ट. तो सर पत्तों की धूल निकलती है, जब वो निकलेगा तो उसका फोटोसिंथेसिस बेटर होगा, एंड फोटोसिंथेसिस बेटर होगा, इट विल एब्जॉर्ब बेटर सनलाइट, एंड व्हेन इट एब्जॉर्ब बेटर सनलाइट सर, द हेल्थ ऑफ द प्लांट विल गो एंड द प्रोडक्टिविटी विल ऑफ कोर्स कम आउट, सर. And there is a camera check over the field, sir. You can check all the crop. Sir, there is a seed sprayer and so many things, and in our drone, sir, we have put the terrain radar, we got all the cameras, we have put then obstacle radars so that, it's a very easy spraying. तो सर एक फार्मर इंडिया के अंदर एक खेत को दवाई स्प्रे करने के लिए सर एक दिन में 2 से 3 एकड़ करता है. With drones, with the help of drones, sir, you can spray only in 5 to 7 minutes. I believe this is something extraordinary, sir. इसका एक बहुत बड़ा एंगल एक और है सर. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. जो बड़ा एंगल है वाटर सेविंग का, सर. भारत में जब भी कोई आप पेस्टिसाइड छिड़कते हैं सर तो उसके लिए 125 लीटर to 200 लीटर वाटर लगता है, सर. बट व्हेन यू स्प्रे थ्रू ड्रोन, इट स्प्रेज ओनली इन 10 minutes, sir. So basically you save 90 to 95% of water when you use pesticides. Sir, from a nano perspective, sir, in India, farmer pays 266 rupees 50 paisa, about $3.5, sir. And Government of India pays 2,000 rupees as a subsidy. Per year, भारत सरकार की 1.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए सब्सिडी जाती है सर on fertilizer. With this nano, I am sure this would be a great benefit to this. So even the farmer is getting at a less price. So farmer को भी 10% का फायदा है, and I am sure they save on electricity, transport, manpower, and all those things. So it saves time, it saves soil health, benefit to the farmer. The accuracy level is 96%, and you have a less water to spread, sir. Next, please. And this is how it works, sir. Sir, we started this production on the 1st August, and as of date, sir, already 24 million bottles has already gone into the farm field. It means 24 million bags of urea has already reduced their consumption. So I feel this is something very big to the society and to the industries. Next, please. And we have this multiple structure. It has got radars, as I mentioned about it, and you can plug in a battery, camera, and sir, it's a thing new for India. We are on a continuous. We have a complete R&D center at our place, and day in, day out, we are working on the R&D, and I'm sure in time to come, we are going to produce, or we are able to present a much more efficient and a great product to our motherland, sir. Next, please. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope India is a great country, and thank you very much, Vicky, and thank you very much, Government of India, to inviting us. It's a great show. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shankar Goenka. Now, may I invite Mr. Brigu Ravi, Head of Industrial Business from TRACEX.
Well, this wasn't my airline meal. It's also a very confusing picture in this forum. Probably must be cropping a lot of questions in your mind. But I would actually like you to ask yourself one very important question. Where is this food coming from, and what has been its story to your tray? On this tray we see, next please, juice from Brazil, next, jams from England, next, rolls from France, butter from Denmark, mushrooms from Italy, sausages from Germany, tomatoes from China, and the tenderloin from Japan. They've been through an amazing journey before you get to enjoy it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Next. My name is Brigu Ravi, Head of International Business at TRACEX Technologies. We are in food and agri supply chain. The previous one, please. Yeah. We are in food and agri supply chain traceability platform that enables the networking of value chain stakeholders through a permissible blockchain, while helping agri-businesses validate their transactions, thus making it transparent and the single source of truth. Next, please. We use the power of blockchain to support a consortium of value chain players in the ecosystem to allow for efficient and trustworthy exchange of data and transactions. A governing council can be created to regulate all transactions and processes, thus ensuring all stakeholders have fair and acceptable outcomes. A simple QR code, when scanned at different checkpoints, validates the transactions and provides trackability, leading to true farm-to-fork traceability. If I can take an example of ours, of one of our customers in Europe, and that incidentally is our first international business exposure. He is a promoter, supplier, and distributor of plant-based health and wellness products, and again, it's also based on Indian products called ashwagandha. They on our platform Food Sign, they have enrolled their finished goods processor and bottler, their raw material extractor, and their FPO to trace the production and supply right from plant to the processing and bottling. Eventually, the end customer can scan the QR code and view the entire journey to gain trust and brand loyalty. Next. The TRACEX platform has three main modules. We have the pre-harvest module, the post-harvest, and the traceability module, which is the mobile application at the very end. The pre-harvest digitizes the various stages of growth right from land preparation to farm gate. The manufacturing of the post-harvest module that looks at all operations right from farm gate to packaging. And when you look at the traceability module, it allows the consumer to view the complete journey and make the buying decision. Next, please. The TRACEX platform is value chain agnostic, be it fresh fruits and vegetables, dairy, livestock, poultry, seafoods, seeds, and everything else in between and all around it. We can create workflows to handle this complex ecosystem. And digitization within the modules also helps to measure topics around farmer empowerment, food security, sustainability, agripreneurship, carbon credits, etc., in order to make data-driven decisions. Next. Where there are challenges, there are opportunities. In general, supply chains are quite complex, involving multiple actors, which leads to potential mistrust without ability to track and trace, and eventually leading to a compromise in quality, in food safety and customer requirements. Next. When building a solution, we were mindful of creating a future-ready, scalable and integratable technology that would account for all players and their operations. At every checkpoint, QR codes, batch IDs, and GIS timestamps are recorded. If there are any gaps, a complete background analysis can be done to ensure better efficiency, lowered costs, and reduced product recalls. The blockchain ledger is decentralized, distributed, as well as immutable. Next. We are commercially available and have been a trusted partner to several brands across multiple value chains. Next, please. Here are a few use cases that I felt I should share with you. Green Earth is a major supplier of lettuce to McDonald's. They work with about 200 farmers and about 250 acres. The TraceX platform, they are able to track right from saplings distribution to post-harvest operations. Traceability is generated and shared with their customers. Next. With Olam, next one, please. With Olam, we have collaborated with them on the sustainability rice platform to measure economic, social, and environmental impacts. Cultivation is monitored to deliver traceable residue from basmati rice with a keen eye on farmer empowerment and women entrepreneurship. Next. In the coffee value chain, we've been working with a specialty coffee startup to deliver bean to cup traceability through their plantation process right up to the cafe. Next. This is the QR code on the customer's package. In the seed space, our engagement with the government through an agri university in Telangana, southern India, has been a great learning curve as they seek to track distribution, production, quality, packing, and labeling via QR code. Next, please. This is the QR code we were talking about. You can see each QR code and label is attached on the bag, and you can actually look at the complete traceability over there. Next. The TraceX platform is offered as a SaaS model to agri entrepreneurs to help them monitor both customer and internal provenance. Thank you for lending me your ears and your support in our vision.
Thank you so much. Now, may I invite Mr. Sri Pranav Tiwari, Chief Technical Officer from Nurture Farm.
Can I have my slides, please? Good afternoon, everyone. Companies, like people, are defined by how they respond to challenges. At UPL, we have taken the responsibility of, we have taken the mission to look at reimagine sustainability in everything that we do. This defines, this is the basis for all the projects we launch, all the businesses we start, and all the processes we define. In responding to the challenges to agriculture coming from climate challenges as well as all the other aspects that we see today, we have launched Nurture.farm, which is basically a startup to address all the farmer problems by creating a service ecosystem for farmers. My name is Pranav Tiwari. I lead technology for Nurture.farm, and I'm happy to share the story of Nurture.farm as well as the mission. Next slide, please. I'll walk you through what Nurture.farm is, how we are trying to address the problems that the farmers face today, as well as what lies ahead for us. Next slide, please. So our food security is under threat. The agriculture ecosystem must feed 7.5 billion people today, and the numbers are growing as we look ahead. We need to solve these problems not only by empowering the farmers, but we also need to look at how we reduce the pressure on on the planet's natural resources, making farming sustainable, making farmers' livelihood viable, as well as ensuring that the risk to the agriculture ecosystem continues to reduce. In order to do that, we believe that we need to empower the 500 million farmers of the world with innovative and affordable solutions. That's what Nurture.farm is about. We are here to look at sustainability and resilience of the agri ecosystem. We are inspired by the vision that in order to face the challenges that the agri ecosystem as well as the food security of the world faces, we need to bring sustainable solutions to farming. We need to make farming as a livelihood more viable and make the farmers resilient. This will not only solve the problems that that agriculture faces itself, but it will also help us alleviate some of the problems that the world faces by solving these problems using agricultural practices. Our mission is to make farming profitable. Our mission is to put more money in the pockets of the farmers as well as bring the right kind of affordable solutions to them. Next slide, please. All of you are aware of this. A farmer doesn't look at this as 7 different steps in his farming life cycle. For the farmer, every season he puts everything that he has into his farm. He is the biggest entrepreneur that we know. He takes the entire risk to himself, and once the season starts, he is the one who has to deal with all the challenges that he faces due to uncertainties of weather, due to pest attacks, due to commodity prices fluctuation, and the pandemic. From the farmer's perspective, once the seeds have been sown, there is no way to look back. He has to deal with all the challenges and keep figuring out the way, which is why I believe that he is the ultimate entrepreneur. We work with the farmer throughout this value chain in trying to make his craft convenient, less expensive, and eventually trying to generate better value for him. We work with him for helping him test his soil. We work with him to make sure that he's able to make the right decisions before he puts the seeds into the soil, optimizing the usage of fertilizers, optimizing the kind of seeds that he uses, getting the right information to him. During the crop life cycle, we bring mechanization to him, and we all know that mechanization is much more than just reduction in manual labor. Mechanization can help him get much more efficacy out of every intervention that he plans for his farm. We have both specialized machines that we bring to the farmer themselves, as well as we enable him to share his machines with his peers through a shared economy platform. We take care of his risk by reducing, by bringing farm level weather-linked insurance schemes to him, which enables him to be resilient in case of any kind of weather disasters, any kind of climate related challenges that he faces. And we at the end of the harvest, we help him connect with the markets much better by creating a platform through which he's able to reach eventual buyers much more effectively. Next slide, please. We have a 4-pronged approach. Our farm application is an application which is the window for the farmer to interface with our digital platform. This is the application which digitizes his entire farming life cycle. This is where he, just like in the cities, we request food delivery and cab services through an app. The farmer is able to request a spraying service or a harvesting service through the app, and we are able to deliver that service efficiently at an efficient price point to him. This application also helps him access financial solutions like credit, financial solutions like insurance, and many other things that are essential for him to work through the season. The second part of our story is the retail ecosystem, where we have digitized the supply chain for efficient distribution of farm inputs right down to the last mile. So the retailers are able to access high quality brand products from us directly at a price point which is much better than what is available to them elsewhere, and thereby they're able to pass on the benefits to the farmer. Not only that, through our track and trace solution, they are able to ensure that these are genuine products, these are high quality products, and it eliminates all the spurious products that often flood the markets. We also bring financial solution to the retailers, by which they are able to recycle their working capital much more efficiently. They are able to order products from us which we deliver to them within 24 to 48 hours, and thereby they don't need to stock the entire season's worth of stock. They are able to keep a week or 10 days worth of supplies in their shop, thereby expanding the range of products that they can offer. This ecosystem also enables them to grow their businesses, because now there is one window from which they can access not just the one or two categories that they typically deal with. They are able to access multiple categories and multiple sets of products through us. Our trade platform is something that brings demand and supply closer. It brings farmers closer to the eventual buyers. And finally, we do all this with sustainability in mind. Our focus is to make sure that we bring regenerative practices to the farmer, so that their focus is not just for this one season, but they are able to look ahead and keep enriching their soil season over season. We have solutions like crop residue management, by which we were able to eliminate stubble burning in about 500,000 acres of farmland in Haryana and Punjab this year. We have water efficiency solutions, by which we worked with about 50,000 acres worth of rice farmers, reducing the water they consume in their rice growing season by about 30%. In the process, they also reduce methane emission from the rice farms. Each of this becomes possible by creating an ecosystem that rewards the farmer for following good practices. We turn all the regenerative practices eventually into carbon credits, which are tradable, generating value for the farmer, leading up to value creation through the regenerative farming practices. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So at this point, we have about 1.5 million farmers on our platform. We have 80,000 retailers, and this year we have covered about 4.5 million acres of farmland with mechanization services. Next slide. The core to our story is, key enablers to our story are, I would say, four things. One is, of course, farm mechanization, which is a key theme for this workshop. With farm mechanization, the farmers are able to access both specialized machines that we deploy in a shared economy platform, as well as machines that farmers can share amongst themselves in a peer-to-peer sharing model. Everything is connected through a digital platform where, while we have multiple stakeholders ranging from farmers, retailers, traders, field officers, each of these interface with a single digital platform, centralizing all the information that we create our solutions based on. One of the key enablers for us has been a gig economy workforce, which I believe that we have activated probably the largest gig economy workforce in the world, rural gig economy workforce in the world, enabling creation of rural employment. And these field officers who work as a gig on our gig platform, they are able to help farmers adopt digital practices as well as the solutions that we bring to them. Using this, I'm extremely happy to say that we have been able to get to about 90% plus adoption of a digital platform in villages, something that was typically very unheard of prior to our attempt to do this. Another heartening thing that I see here is this enables us to create diversity in the workforce, where we launched our gig economy platform in Haryana with an entirely women workforce. So we have all women field officers helping farmers, enrolling farmers and creating business for the farmers using this platform. And finally, we have given that everything is digitized, it enables creation of many other types of financial solutions, including insurance and credit, something that we have enabled both for retailers as well as insurance for the farmers. Next slide, please. This is a complex ecosystem, and it requires partnership across the spectrum. And we have partnered with all kinds of organizations, ranging from research organizations like IARI and Google, Amazon, and Shell. We have partnership with NAB Foundation and SFAC for field extension. For farm services, we partner with equipment manufacturers. For post-harvest solution, we have partnerships with storage solution providers as well as logistics providers. And finally, for fintech, we are working with many organizations. We truly look at this as an ecosystem play, and we are creating a platform that enables all the players in the ecosystem to come together and play on this digital platform. Next slide, please. This is a brief of who we are, and thank you very much for giving me the time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pranav. So I think we had a very great full presentation from startups talking about the digitalization in agriculture and how it has created a lot of linkages for both consumer as well as the other stakeholders, and ensuring better farm produce, food safety, quality, and traceability was also a very great aspect which we all need to take care of. Before we move on, we have industry talk, expert talk on market insights and opportunities, and we are very thankful for Mr. Kriti Meghnani to agree to our request. And we met him yesterday itself, and he agreed to our request and at a short notice. Thank you so much, Mr. Kriti. Over to you.
Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Apart from what we've been seeing on the agriculture sector in India, I'll give a very short presentation of what we are at Choitrams. Choitrams is a company which has evolved from West Africa, and sorry, next. I'm not sure where the person is. Yeah, so we are a company, and we have grown up out of West Africa, and we are more than 75 years old. Our chairman, Mr. Pagarani, he's no longer, but his sons and son-in-laws. So these are the members of the board currently. Next, please. This is our first supermarket which we had in Sierra Leone in West Africa, and the one on the top, and this is one that we have in Dubai, which is one of our flagship stores in Dubai. Next, please. Just a journey. I'll try to go more faster. We established, and then we have a food processing plant in the UK. 74 we came to the Gulf. Since 90s we have been doing retailing and distribution here, and today we are an international company which has retailing, distribution, and manufacturing. And our main focus has always been agricultural products and processed foods from all over the world. Next. Yeah, so like I said, so today we have around 43 supermarkets just in the UAE. We have 15 more planned in the next 2 years. Next, please. Just a look and feel of how we look. I mean, this is how our stores look like in Dubai. People who have come from India are welcome to visit our stores. If you need a retail tour, we can always arrange that. We are apart from the UAE, we are present in Bahrain and Qatar also as supermarkets, and in Oman as distribution. Next. This is our social media presence. So we are almost there in all the social media platforms that are available. Next. Yeah, so we do a lot of processing, production and packaging here in Dubai also. So Leon Tea is one of our brands. This tea also comes from India. It's a blend that we do here locally, not only Indian tea but Kenyan and Sri Lankan tea. The images on the top are, this is our food processing plant again in Dubai, where we do a lot of packagings of rices, pulses, spices, lentils, flour here, and most of our imports are done from India. That's our logistics center and our distribution center. Next. So these are the brands that we distribute. So these are not like raw agriculture product, but these are linked to processed foods that we do from all over the world. You can see some brands from India like Mother Recipe, Gits, which we do from India. Next, please. This is our biggest brand, Rainbow Milk. You must have seen it here. We do around 10 to 12 containers per day. So our range, so the way we turn around food is very fast. Some of our other brands, Mint, these are all from UK. We have a lot of other brands. Next one. Next, please. No, you're going back. Yeah, next. Yeah. Next. Saffron and some tortas from Spain. Next. So, like I said, distribution. So we are the ones who supply to all these retailers. If you see here down below, into Lulu's, Carrefour, Noon, Amazon, and all such aggregators. So if you see this data has not been updated, but even when we last counted, we were supplying to around 19,000 outlets just in the UAE. Next, please. Next. So this is a certificate that we got from Dubai municipality, where where they honored us as complying to all the local regulatory laws that we have when we are importing food stuff from anywhere in the world. Next one. Yeah, that's in Arabic, the same thing. These are some of our values. We call them climbed. customer centricity, leadership, integrity, meritocracy, and boundaryless. Next, please. Apart from doing a lot of business here, this is one part of our business, or let's say one part of our life that many people don't know. We do a lot of charity work. Our chairman always says that what we get from this business is we should give back to the society. This is the eye hospital that Mrs. Pratibha Patil had inaugurated in Indore. It is one of the biggest netralayas in Madhya Pradesh itself, and we do a lot of work with MSF also. And if you see below here, we got three trusts just in Indore where we run schools and hospitals. Next. Yeah, so that's our biggest hospital in Indore, the hospital and the research center, and some photos of our schools and other clinics that we have in Indore that we run there. Next. So that's about Choithrams, and if you want to know anything more about how we import from India or what we import from India, we are here to help you out. If you want to know some regulatory things, we can always assist exporters from India. If you want to go to our stores, you are more than welcome. Please let me know. We can do a retail tour for you. Yeah? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kirti. Do we have any question from the audience for the startups or for Mr. Kirti? Because the audience may be interested in knowing your industry experience and how they can, function well. And yeah, if any question to Mr. Kirti or any of the startups that we can take up.
So, sir, I have only one question. To me? Yeah. My question to you, sir. What is your mantra of life to become so successful in this part of the world? I'm sure all the young entrepreneurs and the startups would like to know, what is that one X factor which make you so big, sir? Thank you very much.
Sorry, but this question is not only, I would say, limited to this region.
Actually, anywhere in the world.
Yeah. So because we are present today in around 35 countries. Apart from this operation that we have here, we have a similar very big operation in West Africa, where we originated from. Apart from that, if you ever travel to the UK, you will find in these Desi stores a brand called Natco. Natco is a brand that we have developed in the 70s. I think all these businesses, maybe the core value that we have is integrity. We don't deal with anybody who deals with us, in a non-integral way. That is our thing. And I think maybe it's the blessing of our founders. I mean, we are a very passionate, food, let's say, industry, part of the food industry. Our staff, we take care of our staff. We have been well taken care of. I mean, I have spent 38 years in Choithram. My first job, maybe it's my last job when I retire. But so that's how we take care of our staff, and integrity, I think, will stay there up. I mean, honesty is all there. I think integrity is what makes us tick today.
Yeah, I would like to ask you one question, if you allow me. Since you are one of the biggest chain hypermarket in Dubai, so what do you think? What are the better opportunity for Indian market to offer? I mean, what kind of procurement can be done from the Indian startups or Indian players? You think there's a requirement for UAE?
See, usually how hypermarkets and supermarkets work, we work on categories.
Okay.
Okay, so it will have to be divided into categories. But if you look at it, let's say post-pandemic, during the pandemic and post-pandemic, there are a few buzzwords nowadays.
Right.
Which one of them is immunity.
Immunity.
Now, anything that is connected to immunity or health is something that is growing today. Okay, so let's say organic, for example, or let's say turmeric in any way. These are the things that are growing, and I have been talking to many suppliers that way also. I've also done a workshop on some platforms, not this platform, different platforms. I've spoken to suppliers, and we always encourage that. However, what happens is we fail because we deal in consumer goods. correct? I mean, however good a crop would be, if you don't have a perfect packaged product sitting on the shelf, it doesn't, it doesn't move, you know. So for us to tick in, let's say, consumer goods from India, we need to have a good product, a good selling proposition on it. On top of that, we need a very good packaging on top of it. This is what we would look for.
Okay, so do you think the quality is a constraint which you face?
I feel quality is not a constraint from India.
Great, and that's good
It
to
is
hear,
not,
sir.
no, it is not, it's not a constraint from India. I think post quality is what we fail in sometimes, from India. I mean, there are some, and then, we also have to look at the way Indian consumers think and the way consumers in the UAE think. There is a vast difference. If you have to have an export ready product for the Gulf, it has to be maybe made in a different way. It has to be packed in a different way.
Customized as per the requirement.
It has to be. It has to be. We just cannot bring anything that sells in India and bring it onto the shelves in Dubai.
So you just mentioned about the product. That can you be very specific, like pointers in terms of what needs to be thought when you're bringing product to UAE?
You mean the category?
Yeah, categories, subcategories, and also like you said, post thing that you need to look at the UAE market, the demand in terms of packaging and other things. Very brief in terms of pointers, or 1 or 2 pointers in terms of what Indian companies can look
Okay,
at.
let me give you an example. If you go to the market today here, in any supermarket, just look at the personal care category. Let's take a skin care or a face wash. Okay, when you look at, and most of them are actually made in India. If you take any Unilever product or a P&G product or a L'Oreal product, they will be made in India. Okay, now you just look at those packagings. Take a local brand from India, it will not look the same. I don't know why. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't look and feel the same. There is something that is lacking there.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the audience? Any question that you'd like to have?
Good afternoon. We are DB Delicious Bites from Punjab, India. We are making preservative-free and chemical-free products, basically healthy products.
Non-food?
Mainly cookies.
Cookies, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And do we have such market in Dubai?
I think this guy, what's his name? Lovely Baked Cookies is one of your competitors, right? I would say that.
No, but we are not using any.
I know, but
yes,
as a category,
yes,
he is
yes,
one of your one of your competitors.
Yes, yes.
He has not done well in Dubai as yet.
Okay.
So I think maybe I'll answer your question that way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So this is Anand here from Grozip. So we are a last mile delivery company in India. So we wanted to expand our operations to Dubai in terms of West Zone, partnering with zones with your company and other company, because we see there's a gap in the last mile delivery. So what do you think of e-commerce platforms and last mile delivery serving in Dubai?
So we have our own e-commerce platform. We have our own apps. We also work with aggregators like InstaShop, Now and all. Now, fortunately for us and unfortunately for many other people, we have been doing home delivery since 70s or 80s. Okay, like people used to come and shop and say, ye mere ghar bhej do. So we know the last mile delivery very well. Plus, we have also invested a lot into that infrastructure. And post the pandemic, we have actually doubled that. So our e-commerce, let's say, sales from around 5 to 6% of the total sales has now jumped to 13%, and we have been doing that very, very efficiently. So as far as we are concerned, maybe we will not look at any last mile delivery partner, but yes, you can always explore other people.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? So thank you so much.
Thank you, Megnani Saf. It's very encouraging to hear from you the operations of one of the biggest distributor, and even I should say retailer, not just in West Africa from where you have originated, but you have expanded your tentacles to different parts of the world. And thank you for accepting our invitation after my meeting yesterday. At a very short notice, you have come and made your presentation. And I'm very thankful to you. And again, we extend your invitation to back to India, where your origin is from Indo. So that umbilical connections still exist. I could see in the photograph. So you'll have quite affiliation and emotions attached to the India and Indian nation. Having said that, certainly India is a basket, as I've said, as a food basket. When it comes to the buzzword that Mr. Mengnani has said, the immunity, as you know, our immunity segment produce, the raw materials have taken a big boost during this pandemic. It's just not Middle East, but to all over the world. But then question is that, when he talks about turmeric, India is the biggest producer and the best producer of the turmeric. The curcumin content may vary from region to region. With Lakadang that day before they presented, organic or Mr. Priyaranjan, that is generally curcumin is more than 5, which means it is catering to pharmaceuticals and cosmetic industries. Whereas if it's below 3 or 2 to 3, it's a table variety. And puja ke liye jo for the puja, it's even less than 2, that curcumin. So it is not just curcumin, various spices have that immunity, including Ayurvedic, which is seeing a rise in terms of the export. So certainly, but the question that Mr. Mengnani has raised is packaging to make it attractive, have the preservation of that produce quality for long-term effect, so that the consumers find value when they buy it and keep it in their home. For a little longer period, they find that value. Otherwise, if the shelf life expires. Second is the packaging. India is now seeing a good packaging research and development. We have the Indian Institute of Packaging. I'll request some of your exporters, those who are from India, to work with those kind of institutes back in India, because when you look at the Western world, the packaging is so attractive. Whether you know the content or not, you fall for the packaging. So Dubai, where it is high income economy, or Middle East, or the GCC countries where this is high income economy, so certainly packaging plays a very important role in attracting as well as preserving the values in a right kind of this thing. So I'm sure that all the exporters who are here, so certainly be working towards that, because India's produce have real good value and quality. When it comes to the quality, let me assure you, we have good quality testing laboratory, state-of-the-art testing laboratory, which you can use to pinpoint the quality parameters, because we have AGMARC, we have BI standards, which are compatible to the Codex Alimentarius, and FSSI, which is absolutely aligned to the entire world standards, and the minimum residue limits are at par with anywhere in the globe. Only question is integrity that he's speaking about, Mengnani Sahib, is very, very important, that you ensure that what the world needs, the consumer needs, that has to be packed into that nicely with that kind of quality. So thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. We are tomorrow having a kind of session where we'll be having the importers from this region sitting across from 2 to 4 tomorrow afternoon, and FICCI is organizing that. We invite Chaitram to participate in that, so that our exporters can pitch in and you can see what else you can see. We have Northeast, which is full of beautiful product. Yesterday we were talking to our colleagues like Queen Pineapple of Tripura, which is fabulous. Nowhere in the world you find those kind of pineapples, just mouth melting, but it is highly perishable and shelf life is low. But if you can reach here, you have a huge market. So you have Lakadam turmeric from the Meghalaya, which is fabulously enriched. Nature has been bountiful in putting curcumin like it's never seen before. It is long cardamom of Sikkim, which is fabulously fragrant as a spice to our condiments, to our own cooking. And the entire list goes on for the Northeast, whether it is ginger, fiberless ginger, each size with 600 to 700 grams. You never have seen it probably elsewhere. So that is why, that is why we have good agromalantic belt, we have good soil quality, we have now good agricultural practices, but your guidance will help our exporters to scale up that barriers and now can rule the entire world as a food giver, food basket, this thing. So I invite all of you to register with FICCI for tomorrow, just not for non-serious, but for the serious, those who are serious will get an opportunity to see, some of these exporters from here. It will be followed by a Elevate session subsequently. That is where our startups will have a session with the investors from these regions, because that's one of the session, Elevate session we are looking forward to. And India has no dearth in startup culture, startup entrepreneurship, or technology. You know, every field we have been working in the ministry, we see that the startups are coming with such mind-boggling technologies for the gaps that we see in the agriculture, which our government institutions are not able to bridge. But the startup ecosystem is bridging that, making that agriculture actually value-oriented. So tomorrow we'll have a session for the startup between 5 to 7. So please again contact Vicky for that. Thank you all and wish you all the best. I'm sure that Dubai will give you not just a good memory of the city, but also good memory of your business and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you. And we close the session now, and we invite all of the guests to join us for some snacks, please.
Our Joint Secretary in charge of organic development. I would like to see organic grow. Because India exports more than 50% of the product. Okay. Organic thing. So we'll be very happy that if you can explore that